Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video. Today we are looking at the bookmakers' predictions for the upcoming Premier League season 22-23. These aren't my predictions. If you want to see my predictions, go back to the older videos. So don't give me hate. You might agree with these predictions more than mine. I don't know. But this is what the bookies think about the upcoming Premier League season. We've got the bottom four, the four just above that, the mid-table four teams, just outside the top four, and the top four. The Premier League teams are scattered across the bottom. Let's go through this, working our way from top to bottom. Make sure to like and subscribe as well. Let's start with the favourites, which is of course Manchester City. I've got no qualms with that at all. Man City being favourites, that makes sense. How many times have they won the Premier League recently? Too many to remember. And with Haaland as well, they're just a force that really can't be reckoned with. There is a couple teams that might say they could try and compete with Man City, but I can't see a team getting to that top spot more than Man City in my opinion. Under Guardiola, just phenomenal. Man City are the favourites. In second place, the bookmakers have put Liverpool. Once again, I'd agree with that. I think Liverpool are probably the second strongest team. Some might say they're on a level with Man City. I suppose there's not much to separate the two. They are both clear of the next few teams. The bookies have them in second. I'd probably agree with that. I feel like Liverpool, they did really well in the cup competitions last year, which maybe held them back from winning the Premier League. Who knows? They could just go for the Premier League or Champions League this year. We'll wait and see. The third favourites are Tottenham Hotspur. Once again, I agree with this. Tottenham Hotspur, very impressive under Conte. What a manager. I tell you what, Kane, Son, Kulusevski, very impressive going forwards. Pretty decent all-round squad. I feel like they're the best threat to these top two. And yeah, the bookies have them as third favourites. Just joining them in the top four, the bookies have gone for Chelsea. I would agree with that. Chelsea, very strong under Tuchel as well. Yeah, really like their squad. I think that these four are actually quite clear of the teams below them, to be honest. I feel like Chelsea are very strong and will make the top four, even if it is just in fourth place. If you're a Chelsea fan, let me know if you agree down below. In fifth place, just missing out on the top four, the bookies have gone for Manchester United. I suppose with the new manager, could be a wild card. I think they're probably basing that on history, basing on, you know, the last few managers haven't been very successful, and each time there is a hype about this new manager. I remember when Mourinho came in, I remember when Van Gaal came in, there was like this big buzz, and Manchester United just haven't really lived up to the Manchester United of old, have they? You know, the Sir Alex Ferguson days cannot be revisited. Maybe under Ten Hag they can be stronger. The bookies have them to climb the table a couple of places on last year, but only up to fifth. In sixth place, the bookies are going for Arsenal. I feel like Arsenal maybe could swap places with Manchester United here. I feel like Arsenal maybe the best of the rest after the top four. They'll be looking to try and break into that top four, but obviously they've got Europe this time round. I feel like last year was a really good chance for them to make it with no Europe, but who knows? Arsenal are in sixth. Next up in seventh place, the bookmakers have gone for Newcastle United, and you really can't blame them based on what they did in 2022. If they carry that on, which is still 2022, what I'm saying is in the second half of last season, very impressive. Good manager, obviously new owners, decent signings, still haven't finished all of their summer transfer business for this year as well. I think Newcastle could really break into that sort of top 7 or 6 clubs. Newcastle are the seventh favourites. Just joining them in that top 8, the bookies have gone for Aston Villa. I feel like Villa fans have got a lot of cause to be optimistic based on the fact that they did look pretty good at times under Gerrard last year. They've got a real good pull to the club because they're a big club and they've got a big manager name. I think Villa are really going in the right direction. It wouldn't surprise me if the bookies are right in putting them in 8th place. Next up in 9th place, the bookmakers have gone for West Ham United, which is a bit harsh in my opinion. I know it's very competitive, but West Ham have done nothing to make me think they could fall down the table. They're always pretty solid. I really like David Moyes. What a manager. Really good squad. Haven't quite finished their transfer business for this summer either, but the bookies have them to finish 9th as things stand in late June. Just joining them in the top half, the bookmakers have gone for Leicester City. Once again, I'm not 100% sure why the bookies have got Leicester City to fall down the table a bit. I suppose if Newcastle and Villa are going to break in there, then a couple of teams have got to swap places. But this is what the bookies are saying. If you're a Leicester fan, do you agree with this? Because I think under Brendan Rodgers and with the players you've got, there's a good thing going there. Last season wasn't the best season by Leicester's standards, but I don't expect them to fall off too much this season. In 11th place, just missing out on the top half, is Brighton Hove Albion. I like Brighton. I feel like they could just get into that top half. Obviously, it's so competitive. If I'm going to put Brighton in the top 10, I've got to say who's not going to make it. But you've got to say under Graham Potter, the football they play is very impressive. Brighton really, really doing well, and the bookies have them to finish in the middle of the table. Just joining them in that mid-table section, they've also gone for Crystal Palace, who were, very, very impressive last year under Vieira. I think I've said before, I was a bit unsure with Vieira coming in, but he did very, very well. Very decent players there at Crystal Palace. I feel like they will be strong. I've always said they're an obstacle when it comes to the big teams having to try and get points off them. Crystal Palace are a solid team. No danger from the bottom three, in my opinion. Really well established, and the bookies think they'll finish mid-table. In 13th place, the bookmakers have gone for Everton, so not quite breaking in that top 12, but improving on last season. They can't really get much worse than last season, can they? I suppose they could get relegated. That would be getting worse than last season, but I think under Lampard and with the fans behind them towards the end of last season, they showed signs that they want to carry into this season. They were very impressive then, and they want to take that into next season, like I say. I feel like there's a big change needed at that club, because at the size of club they are, they should not have been flirting with relegation last season. The bookies have them in 13th place. In 14th, the bookies have gone for Wolves. This is quite a fall off. If you're a Wolves fan, I would not be happy with this. It's not really ideal for Wolves, considering what they did last season. I feel like the manager's good. They've got a good foundation at Wolves, and the players were good. They're not saying they're going to get relegated, but the bookies think they'll fall off quite a bit, and I think that's quite harsh, personally. I'd have them above Everton, to be honest. Just below that, in 15th place, the bookmakers have gone for Leeds United. I think after last season, Leeds United do certainly want to climb a couple places. You know, they're a big club as well, and they really don't want to have to go through the pain of a relegation final day dogfight again. It could be tricky, because obviously it's getting very competitive, and the three newly promoted teams all want to compete, but the bookies have them to finish above all those three newly promoted teams and in 15th place. If you're a Leeds fan, do you think you'll finish higher or lower than this? It's quite tricky, knowing that all the business for the summer hasn't been finished at this point in time. In 16th place, they've gone for Brentford. If you base it on last season, I think Brentford will survive again. I think 16th is probably a bit harsh for Brentford. I think Brentford really were impressive last year. The bookies have them to stay up again. They haven't finished all of their business. At the time of recording this, Eriksen's been linked with some moves away. I'm recording this a couple of days before this video actually goes out, so he could have moved in that time. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. Obviously, Eriksen is a big player to them, but they were very good before Eriksen as well. They've got good players there. I feel like Brentford will do well next season. Just beating the drop, the bookmakers have gone for Southampton. Southampton very solid in the Premier League. I think it's 10 years and counting now, which is very, very good. I think some people are saying they could go down. I don't agree with that. I do think Southampton will survive. Once again, if you're a Saints fan, whereabouts do you think you'll finish? I think Hasenhüttl is doing a decent job there. Decent players. I need to see their full business before I do a prediction. But at this time of recording, I think Southampton will survive, and the bookies have them to just survive in 17th. So then, the bottom three, quite typical of the bookmakers, is the three teams that have come up. I think that's a bit harsh. I feel like the bookies are trying to play it safe, but you know what? There's always at least one or two that survive. I don't think it's happened recently where all three teams have gone straight back down. They've got Fulham in 18th place, so they think Fulham might just do the best out of those three, but still going down. Fulham are a bit of a yo-yo club based on the last few seasons. They'll be wanting to break that trend. Obviously, very impressive last year. You know, they were the best team. They got the most points, the most goals and everything. It's just about converting that into the Premier League. The bookies think they'll just fall short in 18th place. Next up, they've put Nottingham Forest in 19th. Now, you've seen my prediction. There's plenty of Forest fans on the channel. I don't agree with this. I think it might actually suit Nottingham Forest to get written off by a few people, so it doesn't actually feel like there's much pressure on them to survive. I personally think they will survive. I think they will surprise a few teams next season. I think they really will do well. Obviously, we need to wait and see what their full business is going to look like, because they did have a few loan players last year, but I still think they'll be strong. I think Cooper's good at recruiting. He's a good manager as well. He's a good coach. I think Forest will stay up, but the bookies have them in 19th place. So Forest fans, what do you think are being tipped to go down? Do you like it so there's no pressure, or do you think that's unfair? 19th for Nottingham Forest. Last up, the bookies have got Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth do appear to be a bit of a punch bag when I've looked at other people's predictions. I've also backed them to go down. I think they could rack up a decent amount of points. I don't think they'll be bottom personally, but the bookies do. I think it could be close, you know. I really don't. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes either way with AFC Bournemouth. Basing it on the last time they were in the Premier League, it wasn't good, but they're a different team since then. It's a different manager, but also Scott Parker, not the best track record in the Premier League. So they've put Bournemouth in 20th place. That wraps up today's video, guys. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. That is the bookies' predictions for the upcoming season. Quite predictable with them putting the same top four and the newly promoted teams to go straight back down. But let me know what your thoughts are. Do make sure you've liked and subscribed. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.